Now the equipment that I used on all these three music videos is very similar. I shot them all on the Canon 7D. I've also shot before other low budget music videos on the Canon T3i and also on the Canon 60D, and the results were just as good. So really, I mean, if you're shooting pretty much on any digital SLR camera, and especially if it's a Canon digital SLR camera, you don't have to really worry too much about the quality. I mean, all those cameras right now can deliver it.
So that's my camera bag. Let me show you what I have inside. So this is my camera, Canon 7D, and it's just with the standard kit lens, which I actually use quite a bit too. And here's my spare batteries, things like that. I have my voltmeter. This is adapter for the cooking filters I use sometimes, and my lenses. 105 millimeter. So these are this is a Nikon lens, and so it's old manual Nikon lens, and I use a Nikon to Canon adapter. And this is my 50 millimeter lens. Again Nikon, also with the adapter. Zoom lens. It's a 70 to 300 millimeter, and again it's manual with the adapter. And here's one more lens. It's a Nikon, also 24 millimeter manual, and that's it.
Just get whatever it is that you can afford to buy or borrow, and learn to use it. Now, as far as the support equipment, you'll see that especially on these low budget music videos, many times I would just end up using just a camera, just a bare camera by itself, without anything else, without even a tripod, not to mention mat boxes or any of those things. It's always great if you can afford to have those things, maybe there's something like a follow focus. But again, it's not necessary. So if you don't have it, don't make that an excuse to why you can't make your music video look great. Because at the end of the day, good equipment doesn't make a bad filmmaker great. I also use a lot a dolly in my music videos, and the dolly that I use is actually something that I build myself. You can learn if you want to build something similar or identical to what I have for around $120. You can learn that by watching one of my free YouTube tutorials.
So I got two tripods, cheaper one, more expensive one. Both do the job. This one's maybe quicker to set up sometimes and balance, and also can you can put a bigger, heavier camera on this. This one I use though still. I would say probably most of the time, simply because it is lighter, and it's you can travel with it quicker. And really what you would just want to make sure is it's sturdy, and then the fluid head, if you unlock it, you can do nice smooth panning. Now this one, as you can see, it can go much higher. First of all, it has more legs here. You can loosen the ball head, and you can easily balance the camera. So if you're on uneven terrain, you don't have to worry about adjusting the length of each leg. You just basically adjust this and then quickly tighten it. It has more handles. The head is bigger, so you can handle more weight. Smoother. It has a safety here. If you put it at the back, it will always go back to the kind of neutral position. And it also has these spreaders here, which basically allow you to put the camera really low, as opposed to this tripod. I can go a little bit lower than this, but not much. This one, you can go almost to the ground, so if you loosen these, like this.
Now, aside from the camera, the tripod, and the dolly in my case, what I also used on these videos are lights. And the lights that I use, it's a very basic sort of kit that I have. The first are these two 1000 watt redheads. And they're just open phase tungsten lights that provide this very sort of sharp and direct light. And again, you don't necessarily have to use the same lights, that I have. You can get Arri, for example, makes also a kit that's very similar to that. Or if you can't even afford to, buy professional movie lights, you can just simply use hardware lights, and they'll do the same job as the lights that I have. And I'll actually show you in one of the videos that's exactly what I used, just purely hardware lights. The only difference really is just that professional movie lights, they're just easier to mount. You can adjust the angle a bit easier. They have barn doors, so you can control the light spill, things like that. That for example the hardware lights don't have. But again, you can always substitute that, or you can you can always figure out a way to make the hardware lights do all those things that professional movie lights do. Now, another light that I use a lot is a softbox, and this just throws this really nice sort of soft light on your subject without all the harsh shadows. Now, you can make your own softboxes, but I usually recommend that you don't do that, simply because it's a fire hazard because the lights that you'll put behind the softbox will tend to get really hot. And if you have a softbox made out of a material that's flammable, then very big chance that you're gonna have a fire emergency on your set. My favorite softbox to rent are these Lowell DP lights. Basically, they're just again open face lights, but then on top of that you put a medium softbox bank, and those lights will cost you around, depending where you get them from, around $20 to $50 per day. If you can't afford to do that, or maybe let's say you can't rent those types of lights in where you live, then another thing you can do is again just buy a strong hardware light, and then put on top of that a professional softbox that you can buy on eBay. I got mine for around $80. And then in order to be able to attach it to my hardware light, literally as you can see here, I just put a coat hanger and sort of wrapped around behind the light, and as you can see, it works. If you go online on, let's say, eBay or Amazon, you'll be able to find a lot of different softboxes by different companies and different sizes. So again, just take your time, browse through it. One thing you should just keep in mind is that you want to make sure that you buy softboxes for continuous lighting and not for flash photography, because flash photography, again, it doesn't get hot. So usually they're made out of just cheaper materials, because they don't have to worry about it catching on fire. So you want to make sure that the softbox that you do buy is not flammable. My favorite size when it comes to a softbox is anywhere from like 30 to 50 inches. I would say anything bigger than 50 inches wide is too much, because you're gonna have problems fitting it into especially like little smaller rooms and stuff like that. So I think, but at the same time, you don't want to get too small, because in case you want to use the softbox to light the whole person from head to toe, then it's again going to be a problem if the softbox is really small. Sometimes you will also see me use these other lights called Kino Flows, and they're basically these fluorescent lights. They're very nice, but they're also very expensive. If you can't afford to get those, don't worry. You can use hardware lights that have basically fluorescent tubes in them, and they create a very similar effect, for a lot cheaper. The last thing you should probably get are some different colored light gels, and also just some gaffer's tape. And those are just things that you can buy at most photography or video stores.